Hey there everybody and welcome. Today I'm going to present a full solo tutorial and playthrough of Luthier using a program I wrote to play the game. I use these programs to teach and play games in my videos and to help ensure that I don't make any mistakes as I play the game. But keep in mind, I never make these programs public unless the publisher comes to some sort of prior agreement with me. I've already done a two-player tutorial of the game in a separate video, so please reference that video if you want to learn more about the game in general, or watch the How to Play video that Ryan from Knights Around the Table produced. It's really exceptional. To spice things up today for this solo game, I'm actually going to be playing a three-player game with two independent AI players. So you'll see just about every possible situation that Solobots can face. I'll be playing blue against the two Solobots, red and green. We'll just see how this plays out. Let's get started. As usual, before we start the game, I have to choose between two families, two patrons, two instruments, and two of the four personal goal cards that were dealt randomly to me. So for family, I have Niccolo Amati. Well, I played with him in my last video. I'm tempted to, let's see who my second family is. But anyway, Amati gives me $20 and no resources so that I could just go to the market and make a special trip and buy whatever I want, which is actually quite nice. He also gives me a bump on the reputation track, which in turn gives me an apprentice to start the game with. On the other hand, Anton Walter gives me one animal, 2 wood, no metal, $2 or 2 lira, 1 apprentice, but not the jump in the reputation track. And he also gives me a second patron. I draw 3 patron cards and I get to keep 1. And I actually get to return the other ones to the top or the bottom of the deck, my choice. I think I'm going to go with Anton Walter, but before I do, let me take a look at the patrons and the instruments to see what's compatible here. I have Clara Schumann, the famous pianist from the Romantic era. She later married Robert Schumann. She wants a percussion instrument, and that's all. And I also have Frederick the Great, a noble. He wants a woodwind, and he also has 2 secondary requirements: to craft a woodwind, to craft a percussion, or to repair a woodwind, repair a percussion, or perform in the Baroque period of music. And then for my instruments, I've got a bassoon, a woodwind, and I've got a viola, a string. Okay, well that's pretty much going to rule out Schumann then, because there's no percussion. So I'm going to go with Frederick the Great. I have to put him in a slot. I'm going to put him, now he gives me money in the first 2 rounds if I haven't fulfilled one of his requirements. So he's going to give me $6 at the start of round 1. I'm going to put him, therefore, in the 3rd slot to get an apprentice. And then he wants the woodwind, so I'm going to choose the bassoon. And I'll put it in, because it's essentially the beginning of round 1, I'll put it in my roughing bench. And then I will choose Anton Walter, who's going to give me these resources, some money, an apprentice, and then let me choose another patron. So I've got Caccini, a performer from the Baroque era. I've got Johann Pachelbel from the Baroque era as well. He has 2 requirements. And I have Jacques de la Guerre from the Baroque period as well. She's a performer, and she wants a percussion instrument. Oh, there is a percussion instrument in the display over here, the timpani. Okay, I'm going to choose de la Guerre. I'll put her in the middle slot to get a resource. And what do I want? Well, if I choose the timpani, That has a fair need for metal, so I guess I'll take metal because I don't actually have any starting metal. And then I have to discard to the bottom or the top. I'll just discard these guys to the bottom of the deck. Okay, and now I've got to choose two of these 4 gold cards. We have score for the number of first chairs you hold in the percussion section of the orchestra. Well, if I get the timpani, I'll hold 1. But there's not a lot of percussion instruments in the deck. So there's no guarantee, and there's only 3 spots here. I don't think the odds are very good at that. Let's see what else we have. Score for the number of composer patrons you've completed. Well, so far I've got a performer and a noble. Store for the completed patrons in different eras. Well, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm definitely going to choose that because I'm starting with 2 different patrons. Score for the number of string repair tokens you have in the orchestra. I'm usually not a big repair person when I play the game. I go there occasionally, but I don't know if that's my bag. And this, I'll go with composers. Even though I don't have any composers to start the game with, I'll try to see if I can focus on some after I complete these 2. So we're going to go with composers. And now we're sort of ready to start. The turn order was based on the guild cards that the solo players chose and the family that I chose. So, for example, Red's guild card over here, and I'll talk more about the guild card in a moment. See, it has a number 3 down there. I don't remember offhand, but my number on my family, Anton Walter, must have been greater than 3 because I'm in 2nd place in turn order, and then Green had even a higher number than that, so he's 3rd place in turn order. All right, so Red's going to be going first. And Red's about to place her first worker. Each solo player has their own deck of 6 shuffled action cards, which can then send them either to any of the 5 locations on the game board, perform, salon, repair, guild, or balcony, or the 6th card can send them to their workbench. Now, they don't have a roughing bench and a finishing bench like I do. They just have a single workbench because solo players don't deal with resources. They don't really deal with apprentices, though I'll talk more about that. They don't collect money. They don't collect inspiration. None of that. So when they workbench a card, they just, like an instrument, they just finish it as if they had all the resources necessary. The most basic action cards of this 6-card deck are level 1. And of course, each player starts with that deck of 6 level 1 action cards. But over the course of the game, level 1 action cards can be upgraded to level 2, and then later they can be upgraded to level 3. So while the deck of 6 action cards at the beginning of this round are all level 1, come round 2, each AI player's deck of 6 cards may consist of a combination of level 1 and level 2 cards. And then maybe come round 3, there will be some level 3 cards in there. So they'll always start with 6 action cards, but some of them are going to be level 1, some will be level 2, and some will be level 3. And I'll explain more about how those levels increase later in the game. I'll also point out here that over the course of the game, I display the solo bots action card levels all over here, so it's easy to reference where they all stand. This priority track here includes Salon, Perform, Repair, Guild, and Balcony in that order. And then down here I show the action level for the Workbench card. When it's a bot's turn to place a worker in a location, I'll draw an action card effectively from the top of their shuffled deck, and that card's going to instruct me where to place a worker. Well, I start the game with 1, 3, and 5 workers. My numbers 1, 3, and 5, 5 being the most skilled, 1 being the least skilled. The bot starts with their 1, 2, and number 3 workers. At the start of round 3, of course, I'll gain my number 2 worker, and then each bot will gain their number 4 worker. And at the start of round 5, I'll gain my number 4 worker, and each bot will gain their number 5 worker. Also, at the start of each round, each bot's worker chips for that round are shuffled and kept face down. So when I place one of their chips in a location, as instructed by the action card I draw, I don't know what the skill of that chip is going to be once it gets revealed later on when the location's resolved. I'm going to unpause now so my program can draw that top action card of reds, send one of their workers to the location specified by the card, and then I'll pause again and just sort of indicate what's going on. Okay, so red sending their worker to the workbench. Okay, again, we put a chip there face down, so we don't know if it's a worker 1, a worker 2, and a worker 3. But I want to go back to the red player here for a second. Let's talk a little bit more about their priorities. Now, their priorities all started at 0, but their guild card, which was dealt randomly to them, gave them some initial priority settings. So, for example, it said bump up the Salon by 1 and bump up the Perform level twice, which is why Salon is at 1 and Perform is at 2, and everything else is still back at 0. While there's only one Workbench card in their action deck, it is actually possible that a bot could send multiple cards to their Workbench over a course of a round, and we'll see how that happens soon enough. So it's now my turn to choose a worker and a location, and I want to go to the guild, if you recall, to pick up that timpani for Luthier. At the start of the game, each solo bot drew this random guild card over here, which established, among other things, how their priority settings should start. So you'll notice that Salon got a bump and Perform got 2 bumps, which is why Salon starts at priority 1 and Perform starts at priority 2 when everything else is back at priority 0. Remember, Workbench is not part of this priority track. I just display it here so I can keep track of the action card level. This guild card is actually going to dictate a number of other things that happen over the course of the game. But what I care about right now are these priority settings. These priorities do multiple things, but what I care most about at the moment are their levels as initially set by that guild card, because those levels are going to dictate where and how the solo AI players will use apprentices. Now, I already said solo bots don't use apprentices, but they could if you want to, because it's kind of nice. It makes it look like we're playing a normal game. Essentially, if and when red sends a worker of some value, 1, 2, or 3, to the Salon, it's also going to be accompanied by 1 apprentice. And if it happens to send a worker to the performance hall, it's going to be accompanied by 2 apprentices. Now, you don't have to play with apprentices. All you really need to do is remember to look at the AI's board, their priority settings, when resolving workers over here to know the order in which they resolve. You're going to have to do a quick mental calculation to say, oh, if he's at Perform, he actually is at skill, whatever he put there, +2. But I like to just use the apprentices, because I'm using apprentices and they're using apprentices. I think it's just easier to resolve each of the locations. So that's my preference. And in fact, in my program, you're going to see that I do use those apprentices as we play the game. But back to my point, I was talking about the guild. And I know that if red goes to the guild, she may put a worker 3 there, but she's not going to accompany it with any apprentices, so her best worker is going to be a 3. Similarly, if I go over to the green player, the green solo player, and this is where he started, he has a 1 on Salon, 1 on Perform, and 1 on the balcony, but he too will never add apprentices to a worker at the guild. So I know all I need is a 4 to be assured of getting first choice when I go to the guild. So that's how the game lets you sort of not cheat so much, but kind of imagine what they're going to be doing and trying to outplay them in that regard. So therefore, as far as the guild's concerned, I only need a worker of skill 4 to beat out any possible opponent chips that might end up there. And not only that, but if I put a skill 4 worker there, I'm going to get the bonus of the guild, which is a free resource and the ability to put the instrument that I took from the display directly into my roughing bench. So I'm actually going to start by placing my worker 3 with 1 apprentice in the guild. Of course, my worker chip's going to be face down, but the display is going to indicate that I actually have that accompanied by 1 apprentice. And then I'll pause again after I do that to see what green and red do. Green's about to draw an action card now, send a worker someplace, and he's going to the repair shop, and no apprentices went with him. Red is going to perform. Remember, red has this level 2 on her priority track for perform, so she sent a worker there with 2 apprentices. Okay, and if I were playing this, I would actually put her apprentices over there just because it's nice to keep track that way. Now, I suppose the way that these priority tracks could work out, I suppose you could end up with more than 3 apprentices getting doled out, and in that case, if I were playing the real game, I would have to come up with I would use some of their token, maybe perhaps one of their red specialty workers to serve as an apprentice chip. But be that as it may, you get the idea. Now it's going to be back to my turn to choose a location. So red's over there with 2, so that's possibly a 5. Now I don't need a performance for Laguerre, but I do need a Baroque performance for Frederick the Great. So I would love to get this free one and not have to pay 8 for this one over here. So to ensure I go here and get first dibs, I'm going to put my 5 and an apprentice on perform. That way I have 6 against red's maximum of 5, and I think I have pretty good odds of going first now. Of course, green may also change that. I don't recall what green's priority level was for the performance hall, but let's just go with that and hope a 6 is enough. So green's going to the guild. Red is going to the salon with 1 apprentice, and it's back to me. I have my 1 worker left. I will send, let's see, I need a wood and 2 metal. I'm looking pretty good. All right, I'll send my 1 to my roughing bench, so at some point during the round I can rough in my bassoon. And I think greens has 1 more worker going to the salon. And now it's the resolution phase. And we're back at red. Now, before red does anything, before she chooses a location to resolve, she has to reorder her action cards so they're in priority order. So in that case, since perform has the highest priority over here, it would go first. The salon is a priority 1, so it's going to go second, and workbench cards always go to the far right, always sort to the end. So it's going to be perform, then salon, then workbench. So that sort is going to actually happen right now. There you go. And now she is going to resolve the performance hall first. So she has the 3, I have a 6, so I easily took care of that. So I am going to choose this first Baroque card. It is fairly easy to complete. I've got a worker of 6. Boy, I'm already in middle tier. I may very well end up in top tier. Let's see how the dice roll for me. Of course, I'm at the bottom of the track over here. I don't get re-rolls. I don't get black dice. I'm just rolling 2 white dice. Well, I got a score of 9, which puts me in the top tier, so I'm in great shape. It's going to get me $2 and a point, and I get to place a performance token in the orchestra, and this performance will satisfy one of Frederick the Great's secondary requirements. So let me get rid of this card for now, and I have to place the performance token in the Baroque section over here. I know I'm going to need metal, so I'm going to go place my token right up here in the harpsichord. And because I had a skill of 4 or higher, I've now gone up on the performance track 1 step. So now, from now on, I get a 1 reroll if and when I want to do another performance. Now it's Red's turn to choose a performance. So Red's got a patron over here, Wianowski, who only has 1 primary requirement. So Red doesn't care, really. She's not looking to find a performance that's going to satisfy a requirement of her patron. So that would be her normal first priority, but that priority is out the window because she doesn't really have any particular desire to get anything for that patron. But to break a tie, she would go with a card associated with the era that's higher ranked on her guild card. So if you'll go over here, we see Romantic is 1, Classic comes in 2nd, and Baroque is 3rd. So between this, and she doesn't pay anything to get Tier 2 or Tier 3 cards. She gets them for free. So between this Romantic and this Baroque, she's going to prefer the Romantic performance. She won't be able to use it for and satisfy Wianowski, but if she does well enough, she may score 2 points, and she'll definitely, if she scores well enough, put a performance chip in the orchestra pit. Now, I already know what her score is because she has 3 here in skill, and if we look at a performance action card, she gets 7 notes when the action card's at level 1. If the action card was at level 2, she'd get 9 notes added to that. If it was at level 3, she'd get 11 notes added to that. But she effectively has a score of 10 right now, 7 plus 3. And the 10 is going to get her middle tier. So she's not going to get the points. She doesn't have any inspiration to spend, so she won't do any better than that middle tier. But it's good enough to put a performance token in the romantic section of the orchestra. And let's talk about that. When it's time for her to choose a chair in the orchestra, her first priority is to choose an empty chair. Well, there are 6 empty chairs in the romantic section of the orchestra, so she's got to break a tie. She breaks a tie by using the ranking of instrument types on her guild card, first being percussion. So she is going to want to put her performance token on the timpani. She's not going to get any benefits for the first chair in terms of the resources it would normally pay, but she will get scored for that first chair at the end of the game. Unfortunately for her, she doesn't know that if and when I get my hands on that timpani, I'm going to be stealing first chair from her. But for the time being, that's where she's going to put her performance token after she finishes this performance. So she scored middle tier, didn't get points, but put her performance token right there. And now it's back to me to choose the location. You know, and incidentally, I didn't mention this, but at the start of the game, each bot was dealt a random patron from the deck, and then they received an instrument card from the deck that matched the primary requirement of that random patron they got. So, well, she ended up with a harp, a string for Wianowski. A green, on the other hand, was dealt randomly mech, so green has 3 requirements he has to meet for mech, and he was dealt a percussion instrument from the deck, a forte piano. Now it's my turn to choose a location to resolve, and I am going to the guild where I know I'm going to have first choice. Okay, I'm going first, green's going second. course, I'm going to take the timpani from the display. It's free. Because I had a worker of 4 or higher, I get to choose my free resource, and I will take metal, yeah. Now I get to put the timpani in my roughing bench if I want to, and I will. It's Green's turn to choose an instrument from the guild. His first priority is to choose an instrument for a patron that doesn't have one assigned. He only has one patron, and she already has an instrument assigned to her, so that priority is sort of out the window. Green's next priority for choosing an instrument is to choose one of a type that's highest ranked on his card. He prefers woodwinds, then percussion, and then strings. They're all strings. What do you know? There's a lute, and there's a Baroque guitar, and there's a violin. So that tiebreaker is now out the window. The final tiebreaker is he chooses a instrument farthest from the deck. Put it another way, he chooses an instrument closest to the center of the board. So he's going to choose the lute. And because he can't assign the lute to a patron, he's going to hold on to it to the side of his board in an area called the unassigned instruments, so that if and when he ever needs it later in the game, he'll have a string instrument when the time comes. So he's going to choose the lute and put it to the side of his board as an unassigned instrument. And now what is he doing? He's choosing to go to the Salon, and Red's going to get first choice there. It's a tie. So Red's getting first dibs. Now, what is Red looking for in the way of a patron? Take a look at the action card for the Salon over here. Notice at the top it says max 2. Max 2 patrons. Meaning that if Red already had 2 patrons and she happened to go to the Salon, she would discard this card and go to the Workbench instead. So there will be instances like that where if for example, an AI already has 2 patrons, they won't go to the Salon. If they already have 2 instruments assigned to both their patrons, they won't go to the guild. If they already have tokens in all 3 achievements, they won't go to the balcony. So there are going to be exceptions in that case, and when that happens, they will just go straight to the Workbench. But it'll be pretty obvious, and I'm no doubt we'll see that happen over the course of the game. But for now, Red is in the Salon. She's going to choose a patron. Her first priority is to choose a patron with a primary requirement matching that of one of her unassigned instruments. Well, we know that Green has an unassigned instrument, but Red doesn't have any unassigned instruments, so that rule is out for the time being. Secondly, she's going to prefer a patron belonging to an era or a style of music that's ranked highest on her guild card. Well, we already know she prefers romantic, and we've got Ludwig, classical, or Tchaikovsky. And to break that tie, she's going to choose the card, the patron closest to the center of the board. So she's going to choose Ludwig and put him in her second slot over here. And if she did have an unassigned instrument that happened to be a woodwind, well, she'd assign it to him, but she doesn't. So she's just going to choose Ludwig and put him in her second slot. And now it's Green's choice. Now Green does have an unassigned instrument. He has a lute over here, which is a string. So his preference is going to be to choose a patron who wants a string instrument as his primary requirement. And that would be Paganini or Waldstein, but not Tchaikovsky. So he's going to take one of these 2, and because Paganini is closer to the center of the board, he'll choose Paganini, and then he will assign the lute to it from his unassigned instruments, so Paganini will be all set on his player board. Paganini and the lute go on his player board. He's ready to go. And now it's Red's turn to choose a location. By the way, if you haven't already noticed, it's obvious, but as locations get resolved, the AI's chips are placed on the action cards, so you actually know when they're which chip went with which action card, and you already know when that action is complete. So the only location Red hasn't yet resolved is her workbench. So she's going to go to her workbench. She is going to complete this harp for Wienoski, and she will score the 8 points. It's Wienoski's only requirement, so she'll then score the 2 points for Wienoski for a total of 10 points. And then she'll get a performance token on the in the rare strings section of the orchestra way up here. So she completes that, scores 8 points. She completes Wienoski, scores another 2, puts an instrument token up there in the rare strings section, and now she's got to score a 10. I have got to score a 1 from the performance I did earlier, and Green has not yet gotten on the scoreboard. And it's now my turn to choose a location, and I think the only thing I have left to do is to go to my roughing bench. Her patience is already at 2, so I'd rather make her happy, and she wants the percussion instrument, the timpani. So I'm going to get the timpani roughed in for her first before I worry about the bassoon. So I have the 2 wood and the 2 metal I need, and this was a worker 1, so I'm not going to get a discount, so I have to pay full price for this timpani, but I will go ahead and rough it in right now. Green now is going to the repair shop. I paused. Well, his priority is to satisfy a patron's unfulfilled secondary requirement. Well, Paganini doesn't have a secondary requirement, but Merck does. She wants strings repaired. So Green is going to want a string repair if he can find one. However, there's another thing to consider. His repair action card is at level 1. That means he can only score 2 points when performing a repair. So we're going to ignore 3-point and 4-point repair cards altogether. So where there is a string worth 3, he's going to ignore that. There's a string worth 4, he's going to ignore that. And there is a woodwind for 2. That's the one he is going to repair. But it's not going to end up helping Mech, unfortunately, because she doesn't need a woodwind repaired. So he will score 2 points. He's going to discard the repair when he's finished, so the repair card's back in the deck. Now he had to choose a place in the woodwinds to place his repair, and they were all empty. So his preference is, so let me go back to him for a second. Green's preference is the romantic era, the romantic section of the orchestra. So he's going to be in one of these chairs. It was a woodwind, so therefore it's one of these. And then between these, he just chooses randomly. He rolls a die or does whatever. And he randomly ended up choosing to put his token on the trumpet. Back to me. And I resolved all my locations, so I have the option to go to the market or just end my turn and end the round. To finish my timpani over here, I'm going to need 2 animal, a wood, and a metal. And I have 1 animal, no wood, and 1 metal. Barring any discounts, that is. And I also like to get my bassoon underway, and for that I need a wood and 2 metal. So in total, what is that? I'm short 1 animal, 2 wood, and 2 metal. What am I getting for gifts next round? So from Luthier, I'm getting 2 inspiration, and Frederick's giving me money. Okay, well. And of course, since this is round 1, all the prices for the resources are in the middle of their respective ranges. As for other things I plan to do next round, I figure I'm going to go to the Salon and get another patron, because I'm about to finish Luthier. And since I'll be visiting the Salon, I might as well also pay a visit to the guild, where I can pick up an instrument and possibly a resource of my choice if my worker skill is high enough. I'd like to also pick up my other apprentices if I can. So I effectively have $11 to spend. So I'm definitely going to the market. Well, I'm going to hire my 2 apprentices because I can use those for discounts when roughing in and finishing. So I'm going to hire both of my 2 apprentices, and that leaves me with $3. You know what? I'll buy 1 animal and just sort of leave it at that for $2. And that should do it. Before I go into round 2, I wanted to discuss AI Upkeep, which happens at the end of every round. Each AI is going to modify their priorities and possibly upgrade some of their action cards in preparation for round 2. But let's start by taking a look at the red player here. All of the key information regarding upkeep is at the bottom of the action cards. So if we take a look at red's action cards from left to right, we see that she wants to decrease the performance priority by 2 and increase the guild priority by 1. The second action card wants to decrease the Salon priority by 2, of course to a minimum of 0, and increase performance by 1. Her Workbench card wants to increase the guild priority by 1. When you're doing upkeep for the red solo player, you do all the decreases first. So you decrease her performance by 2, and then you decrease her Salon priority by 2. And that's effectively going to reset all her cubes so they're back to 0, at least in this particular instance. After that, you do all the increases. So then you increase her guild to 1, you increase her performance to 1, and you increase her guild to 2. So at the end of all this, she's going to be guild priority 2 and performance priority 1. Then, in upkeep, you go through each one of these, and on this action card, if there's a worker chip of 2 or higher on this card, you upgrade her to level 2. There isn't. If there's a 2 or higher on this card, you upgrade it to level 2. There is. So she is going to upgrade her Salon action card to level 2. So she's simply going to remove her level 1 action card from her deck and bring in from the supply off to the side her level 2 action card. So she still has 6 action cards, but now her Salon card's at level 2. But not only that, she's also going to upgrade her Workbench to level 2 as well. So she's going to go into round 2 with 4 level 1 action cards and 2 level 2 action cards. And as we resolve those action cards, we'll see what the differences are between the various levels of the cards. Sometimes they're minor, sometimes they give you a bump on other tracks and do other things for you and let you have special abilities. So we'll see all that as it plays out. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to my board and end the market. I'll pause at the beginning of round 2 just to review all the upkeep and review what I got for gifts, and then we'll proceed into round 2. So my patience cubes are going up, and I can already see that I didn't pause in time, but I can already see that red is going to go to her Workbench for her first turn. But you can see that her guild is at 2 and her performance is at 1, which is what we calculated last time. But if I go into the log, into AI Upkeep, you can see all that same stuff happening here. Key points being that she upgraded her Salon card to level 2 and her Workbench card to level 2. Green went through a similar set of steps. He decreased Salon by 2, basically 1, and then he increased performance by 1, and Salon by 1, and Repair Shop by 1. And then lastly, he upgraded his Salon to level 2 and his Repair card to level 2. At the beginning of round 2, when my patience cube shifted, I got 2 inspiration from Luthier, and I got $6 from Frederick the Great. And now we're already seeing red is still in first. Nobody went to the balcony, so the turn order hasn't changed. Red is going to a workbench. Now that's a level 2 card. And the only difference really is that instead of bumping up one of the priority tracks, it actually bumps up 2 of the priority tracks during upkeep. You can see that it's going to increase the Salon track, the Salon priority track, and the Guild priority track, but that's not going to happen until the end of round 2. So let's continue. And it's going to be my turn. Yeah, I was thinking of going to the Salon, I was thinking of going to the Guild, and then I'll go to my finishing bench this round. But now I'm thinking, if and when I get to level 2 of the reputation track, a Guild will get an automatic choice of 3 instruments. So maybe I won't go to the Guild. Maybe I'll go to the roughing bench instead. For now, I think I'm just going to put my number 1 worker on the Salon. I'm looking for a composer this time around, and there are a couple composers up there. So I'm just going to put my 1 up in the Salon, and we'll see what happens. Green is going to the performance hall with 2 apprentices. Red's going to the repair shop. Back to me. I want to finish that timpani, which pays out a buck, a wood, and an inspiration. It'd be nice to double that and get 2 bucks, 2 wood, and 2 inspiration. So I think I will put my 5 with an apprentice on my finishing bench. Okay, he's going to... Green is not going to the Guild. If you notice, the Guild card was drawn, but because he already has 2 patrons and 2 assigned instruments, he discards the Guild card and instead sends his worker to the workbench instead. So there's a good instance of going to the workbench without having actually drawn the workbench card. Red going to the performance hall with 1 apprentice, because she's on priority level 1. I think I'm going to rough in. So I'm going to go with my number 3 and 2 apprentices, so I get 2 inspiration and the second bonus of a discount. So I'm getting a discount on the finishing the timpani, and I'll be getting a discount on roughing in the bassoon. And now Green is going to the workbench anyway, so now he's going to have 2 workers in the workbench. And it's the resolution phase. Okay, so Red has already sorted her cards, so she's going performance first because it's at priority 1, repair second because it's at priority 0, and workbench always goes last. Incidentally, if there's a tie over here in priority, you just break the tie by order, top to bottom. So we're going over to here to the performance hall where she and Green are gonna duke it out. So Green's got a 4, she's got a 2, so Green's getting first choice. And he is looking for a romantic performance for Beck, but there are none in the display. All the ones in the display are Baroque still. His performance card is still at level 1, so he has to choose from the display. But we are going to find out that when a performance card and some other kinds of action cards get up to level 2, AIs are going to have the option to search through the deck if they can't find a card that they want in the display. But that's not the case here. So none of these are going to benefit Beck, and he doesn't, and Paganini still doesn't need a secondary requirement fulfilled. So her preference is romantic. They're all Baroque, so she's going to choose the Baroque, and she's going to choose the Baroque on the end, the one closest to the center of the board. Green is going to perform with this Baroque card here. We know he's getting 7 notes plus the 4, so he's going to have 11 notes. He's going to get high score. He's going to score 2 points, and then he's going to put a performance token in the Baroque section. And his preference is to go into woodwind, so he's going to put it into one of these chairs, and he's going to randomly choose one of them. So we already know what's going to happen here. He scores high. and he decided to put it in the horn chair. That's where his performance token is. And now red gets a chance at the performance hall. She is still looking for a romantic performance. There is none. Red is going to perform this card with a score of 2 plus 7 or 9, and that's going to get her middle tier. She'll score 1 point, and her instrument types are percussion and then woodwind. So of the empty chairs that are over here, her preference is to go right here into this woodwind, into the transverse flute. So she'll choose that card, she'll get middle, she'll score a point, and she'll go right there. And it's now my turn to choose a location. I don't have any competition at the Salon, so let's see what my options are over here. I've got Waldstein and Noble. Well, remember, I'm looking for a composer if I can, so that would be Tchaikovsky, who wants woodwinds and repair a string or craft a string or perform in the romantic period of music. Yeah, I don't really have I'm not inclined to pay for any of these guys. Over here, I'm happy enough with Tchaikovsky. I'm going to choose him. He's going to go into my first slot, and I'm going to get $4. Green is going to his workbench. He's got 2 workers there. So he's first going to finish the forte piano for Beck, but that's only one of her 3 requirements. Then he's going to finish the lute for Paganini, and that will take care of Paganini. So Green's going to have a pretty good turn here. He's going to complete the forte piano for 9 points. He'll get first chair over here. He'll complete the lute for 4 points, and then finish Paganini for another 2 points. And he'll, of course, get the instrument token on the lute as well. So he's going to do pretty well. Completes the instrument for Beck. Completes the instrument for Paganini. And finishes Paganini. Has 1 completed patron. Red's turn. So red's going to be going to repair. That's her next card up. And she is looking to repair a woodwind or a percussion for Ludwig, but no more than 2 points. We got a 4-pointer, a 2-pointer, but that's a string. Here it is, a 2-pointer for woodwinds. That's what she's going to do. She's going to repair that, get 2 points, and fulfill one of Ludwig's secondary requirements. And she puts a token in her preferred romantic section. In the woodwinds, the only empty chair there is the clarinet. Do I want to finish or do I want to rough in first? As I recall, I'm getting 2 inspiration and a discount over here. And I'm getting a discount and double the timpani bonus, which is $1 a wood and an inspiration. And then I'll complete Luthier, and then I'll go up on the reputation track and I'll get an apprentice. I won't get an apprentice. I'm going to rough in first to free up some apprentices. So let's go to the bassoon. I need a wood and 2 metal. I've got a metal. Oh, I'm short. Darn it. Yeah, let's go to the market. I'll buy 1 metal for 5. And wood is cheap, so maybe I'll buy 1 wood. Getting discounts. I think 1 wood is enough. Okay, that's all for the market. Red is going to her workbench. She has no instrument to complete, nothing unassigned. She's going to draw a card from the top of the deck, and it's either going to go to Ludwig or unassigned. She draws a double bass, which is not what Ludwig wanted. He wanted a woodwind. Back to me. Now I'm ready to resolve the bassoon. It's 1 wood, 2 metal. I'm going to take the metal discount. And now it's back to me. So now I'm going to finish my timpani, which requires 2 animal, 1 wood, and 1 metal. I'm going to discount the wood. And this should get me an apprentice when my reputation track goes up. So for this, I'm going to score 7 points, get 4 points, that's 11 from Luthier, and her ability is to score an additional 2 points every time I perform, which is nice. I'm discounting wood. Steel first cheer. Got my apprentice. Luthier, I'm going to make a note of that so I don't forget. Extra 2 points when performing. Don't forget that. And now I'll continue. And that takes us into round 3. And I will pause on red and we'll once again review everything that happened here. So in upkeep, let's see, looks like red got a bonus when, what happened here? Her guild priority went up by 1, then her salon priority went up by 2, and guild was at 3, and then probably her workbench card pushed her guild priority over 3. And whenever priority gets bumped over past 3, then you reset that priority back to 0, and the AI gets a bonus depending upon what the priority level was. In this case, it was a guild. So the guild priority is, the guild bonus is that the solo draws an instrument card from the top of the deck, and if it has a patron to assign it to, it will. Otherwise, it'll simply go on unassigned instruments. She drew a hurdy-gurdy. No, that's a rare instrument, and it was not. Ludwig wanted a woodwind. A hurdy-gurdy's a string. I can't actually see it right now because I paused, but it is a rare string instrument. So that we're seeing a lot of rare instruments this game. Anyhow, her repair card went to level 2. Her workbench went to level 3. Now anytime she performs a workbench action, her goal track will go up by 1. And that's simply a track here that scores points for the AI at the end of the game. As many as 16 points if it reaches the end of the track. Green upgraded his performance and workbench cards both to level 2. From Tchaikovsky, I got a medal, and $4 I got from Frederick. And now we're about to see where red is going to go for her first choice in round 3. She goes to the guild without the only priority she has is the salon. And if she happens to go to the salon, she'll go there with 2 apprentices. Let's start by putting my number 5 in perform and see what happens. Red goes to the balcony. Green goes to the balcony with 1 apprentice. Red goes to the balcony with no apprentices. I'll put my 3 and an apprentice up here. Going to the workbench, green. And so is red. So I'm left with my 1 and my 2. All right, I'm going to put my number 2 in repair. Green's going to the salon with an apprentice. Red's going to repair without an apprentice. And finally, I'm left with my 1 to finish the bassoon. I'm going to need 2 wood and a metal. Oh man, I'm also going to need an animal and a wood. Oh shoot. I'm going to have to go to the market at some point, I think. All right, I'm going to put my 1 on my finishing bench. By hook or by crook, I'm going to get what I need over there. All right, green is going to the performance hall. And it's the resolution phase. Red has sorted her cards. She's going to repair first. Oh, I get first choice with my 2. Now this costs a wood and an animal. I could pay 4 inspiration. I need 2 wood and a metal. So if I pay one of the woods over here, I'm going to have to buy a wood at some point. But maybe I can get a wood when I perform. Yeah, all right. I'm going to just go ahead and complete this repair card for 2 points. I'll pay 2 inspiration for the missing animal. I'm paying 1 wood. String section. I'm going to go to the violin so I can get my wood, so I'll have the wood that I need to complete the bassoon. And now I have something when I go up to the balcony. Red is now completing her repair. What is she looking for? So already did a wind repair, looking for a percussion repair. And her repair is at level 2. There is a percussion repair. She's at level 2 repair, so now she'll take 2 or 3 points. So she's going to repair this card for mech and score 3 points. And she's going to put a repair in the percussions. So she's not going to go there, she's not going to go there. She's going to go over here where there's no instrument token and start competing with me at the harpsichord. Yeah. Maybe I'll now finish the bassoon. I've got the 2 wood and the metal I need. He gives me a medal at the start of every round, so that's a couple medal I'm going to be getting over the course of the rest of the game. Oh, wait a minute, I still need to fulfill his performance, which means I need to go to the balcony first. Let's go to the balcony. And I'm going to be first in turn order for a change. So I'm going to score a public reward. Now this is not so much for the reward, it's for the purple die. So when I go to perform, I'll get hopefully something juicy over there. Different types of repair tokens. But I'm going to use this trophy so I get my purple die benefit. So I'm going to take this reward. I can't do this reward, right? Competed romantic area patrons. Oh. She's not romantic, so I can't do that. Score for the number of completed patrons of different types. I've got 1 type, but I hope to have 3 types. So yeah, I'm just going to take this 3rd award. 1 point. Oh, it's actually scoring 0 points. Repair tokens of different types. That's fine, but I'll also get to be first in turn order. So I'm going to choose that reward. I'm going to choose this trophy for my purple die. And now I get my instrument from going up on the reputation track because I used a worker of skill 4. And I'm looking for a woodwind for Tchaikovsky. A musette de cour, another rare instrument. And then we got a string and a percussion. So it looks like I'm taking the musette de cour. Okay, green is going to now doing his balcony turn. He is at level 1, so he does not score any awards when you're at level 1. All he does is take a spot on the turn order track. So he'll go second. Red is also at level 1 on balcony, not scoring any awards. She'll go third. Green's turn. Green is going to the Salon. He has no unassigned instruments. His preference is romantic. Looks like there's Chopin. He's going to take Chopin. The Red's going to the Guild next. She is looking for a woodwind. And that would be the trumpet. Back to me. So now I have the 2 wood and the metal for the bassoon. I might as well go complete that, finish it up. I'll score a bunch of points for that. And I'm going to apply it to Frederick. So he's not finished yet. And now we're going to the performance hall, courtesy of Green, and I get first choice. So I am doing the Baroque performance. I've got a 5 going in, and I do get a reroll. And I get the purple die. And I picked up 2 wood, which is nice. I have a score of 8. Let's re-roll this second white die. Oh, I did better. Okay, I got a score of 9. That's on my re-roll, so I only have to spend 2 inspiration to get to middle tier. That'll get me 2 points. And I guess I will be putting my performance token over here in the Baroque guitar. And that's going to get me 2 inspiration. And that will finish Frederick the Great. So now I have the lead with 30 points to 16 to 19. Successfully completed the requirements of Frederick, so he gets me a medal at the beginning of every remaining round. So I'll get 3 medal out of him. And I go up on the track, so now I get to roll black die. Green's turn to perform now. He wants a romantic performance. He's going to choose this card. He'll have a score of 2 plus... he's at level 2. So 2 plus 9 of a score of 11 points. He'll get middle tier. He'll score 1 point. He'll put a performance token in the down here somewhere, and he'll probably choose randomly. Okay, with a double bass. What's Red doing? Workbench action. She's going to complete the natural trumpet. And Ludwig's already fulfilled both of his secondary requirements. So this is going to complete Ludwig for her. And she gets a instrument token over here on the trumpet. And I have effectively $20 to go to the market. So I will go to the market. I will definitely hire all 3 of my apprentices. And resource-wise, well, I need animal and wood for the musette. I've got wood. Animal's expensive. Maybe it'll be better next round. Green's going to the workbench. He has no instrument to resolve. He draws one from the deck and pulls a fortepiano, a percussion. Chopin wants a string. And that takes us into round 4. And once again, before we do anything, let's take a look at the log. Upkeep wise, the red guild card went from level 1 to level 2, and green Salon and Workbench went to level 3. So again, anytime they do one of those actions, their gold track will get advanced. So there are two ways that an AI player can go up on their gold track, either by resolving a level 3 action card, or during upkeep when there's a chip of 4 or higher on a card that's at level 3, they'll advance on the gold track in that case as well. And for me, I got 1 medal from Frederick and a medal from Tchaikovsky, so I'm doing good for the medal I need for the musette. But it is the beginning of the round, so I will put the musette decor in my roughing bench. Okay, so I need 4 animal to rough in? Oh, and animal is cheap this round. That's great. I'm going to want to go to the Salon, obviously, and to the guild. The patrons over here in the Salon want strings and winds, and there are plenty of woodwinds over here. And there's a cello. Oh, also tier 2 is free for me now, so there is a free string as well. And then we've got another rare instrument, a pipe organ, sitting in the wings. I'll probably want to perform this round, if for no other reason, to get those 2 points from Luthier. And maybe I'll get the resources I need from the purple die. So what are my plans? I'll put my 5 on the roughing bench maybe for the inspiration of the discount. I'll put my 3 and a 1 on the guild. I'll put my 2 and 2 apprentices at the Salon to get the benefit over there. And that leaves me with the number 1 worker for performing, which pretends a pretty low score. Maybe I'll end up putting my number 1 in repair. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. For now, I'm going to put my number 2 and 2 apprentices in the Salon. Green's going to the performance hall. Red is going to repair. Both of them with an apprentice. I'm going to place my number 3 and an apprentice in the guild. Green going to the Salon. Nope, green does not go, goes to the workbench. Instead of the Salon, red goes to the performance hall with an apprentice. Another case where green had 2 patrons, so discarded the Salon action card and instead went to the workbench. It was my number 5 that I wanted on. What if I rough in with a 1? Oh wait, if I rough in with a 1, I would need 4 animal and 2 wood. I do have it. Or should I rough in with a 5? And perform, or if I rough in, perform with a 5. What the heck? Let's perform with the 5. Although I get inspiration over here too, if I go with the 5. Oh wait, I fulfilled the secondary objective over here. So if I'm performing for some patron that I don't even know I'm getting yet. Maybe I'm getting Vivaldi. Oh, I'm the only one there. Probably Vivaldi. I'm the only one here with a horn, probably, maybe. Which means I would need a Baroque performance. Oh, it's inexpensive. Let's go to my roughing bench with my 5 And maybe I'll just take the 3 animal when I go to perform. Green's going to roughing bench twice. Red's going to the balcony. I guess she misses being first in turn order. And I guess my 1 is going into perform. That's not going to be good. And finally, green also is going to the balcony. So I'm going to be last in turn order. Red's going to the guild. Resolution phase. I should turn my volume down a little. It's a little high. So, where do I want to go first? Well, I want to get my patron, because everything else I do will govern what I do for a patron. So I'll go over there, and I will choose Vivaldi. And I went there with a 4, but where do I want to put Vivaldi? First of all, I'm going to need some metal here, so let's put him in the 2nd slot. Yeah, I have no apprentices, so yeah, he goes in the 2nd slot. I'll take a metal. One animal's not going to make a difference. I'm going to get 3. Oh, but I do need 4 animal. Should I take an animal? No, I'd rather take metal. Metal is always worth more. I'll take a metal. And now I get to reset a cube, so I'm going to reset Tchaikovsky's cube. And now I get a choice of a metal or an apprentice. There are no apprentices. I'm taking another metal. Green's turn. Green is going to the performance hall first, so we're going to see how this all shakes out. Red's going first, green's going second, and I'm going last. All right, let's pause on red. Okay. Red has no patrons. She favors romantic. There are no romantic there. So her next favorite is classical. So she's going to take the 1 on the end. She's going to score 7 plus 5, 12 notes. She'll get middle tier, score 2 points, and discard the card. Takes the first classical, gets 2 points, puts a token there on the oboe. Green's turn now. He is looking for a romantic performance, and he is at level 2 on his perform card. So he's going to dive into the deck for a romantic performance. So essentially you take the deck, you look at all the backs, you pick the first romantic performance you find, and you return the deck. Of course, you can see on the backs of the cards what, for example, there's a classical performance on the top of the deck right now. He'll find the first romantic performance and resolve that. He is going to have 9 plus 4, 13 notes. He's probably going to score very high. He does. He gets 2 points, and he's going to put a token in the romantic section randomly down here on the cello. So this tier 2 card is free for me. It's classical, however, and it is not going to help. Well, I already fulfilled his secondary requirement. He wants Baroque. I don't think it's worth spending. I'd have to spend all my money and my inspiration, and I wouldn't have any inspiration left. So should I stick with my plan and just take the 3 animal? Although this is not a hard card to achieve. And I am rolling a black die, and I've got inspiration to bump up the score. I'm going to take a chance here and go with this performance. It won't help a patron, but At least I can get a performance token. So, oh, I got $6 from the purple die. Oh, awful score. Performance score of 2. Well, I can re-roll the black die. Let's try. Oh, man. Well, this didn't work out. I am getting 6 and 4. I'm getting $10 out of it. I guess that's not the end of the world, but I was hoping for a token. Well, I could spend a lot of inspiration, and then I get only $2, and I get a performance token in the classical section, which could get me $4 or an animal. I don't know if I want to spend that much. I'm going to take the $10 and I can use it to buy animal later at $1. That's fine with me. Okay, Red's turn. She is going to go to the guild. Again, she's still patronless. Boy, she's not going to the Salon this round. That's going to hurt her. If she doesn't get to the Salon next round, she's going to have a tough time. Well, let's resolve the guild first. Actually, I'm getting first choice over there. I'm going to go with the natural horn. I get a bonus resource, so I will take metal. And I will put this in my roughing bench. And Red is looking for percussion. She's going to take the rare pipe organ and add it to her other rare instruments in unassigned. Until she gets a patron, they're just going to be sitting in there. My turn to choose a location. Okay, I gotta work this out here. I'd love to get all my apprentices. Which instrument am I gonna rough in first? The musette has a 3-point edge over the horn, but the horn's a heck of a lot easier to rough in and finish. I think I'm gonna hold off on the musette. I'm gonna need 5 horn. Well, I'm getting a discount here, so I actually only need 2 horn. So I only need 2 metal, and presumably maybe only 1 metal so I can probably afford to sell 3 of my metal, I'm thinking. Unfortunately, the price of metal is rock bottom. But let's go with that plan. Let's sell 3 metal for the cash. Hope I'm working this out right. I'll buy 3 animal. Wait, I need 4 animal, but I'll get a discount, probably. Let's hire my apprentices first. I want all 3 apprentices. I got plenty of money. 2, 4, and I got room to buy 4 animal. But then again, I'm getting metal from these guys at the beginning of the round. So I only want to have a maximum of 7 resources. So really, I'm only going to buy 3 animals for $3. Do I want to spend 15 to go up on the performance? I'm not doing anything on the... Oh, if I go up here, I could actually rough in both instruments and with one worker. I wouldn't have the room to hold all those resources, so forget that. And if I went up here, I'd get a specialty worker. let's be done with it. All right, green is going to the balcony. He's at level 1. He is not going to score. And I forget where red is also at level 1. She is not going to score. Red is now resolving the repair shop. Her preference is percussion, wind, and string. And she can do the 2-pointer. She just stole first chair from me. Great. All right, so I'm going to rough in the horn. I'm going to discount. I get a discount on the metal. So it's only going to cost me 2 metal. Green is going to his workbench. He has nothing to complete. Oh, he does. Hold on. This fortepiano is a percussion. He'll use the fortepiano to fulfill the secondary requirement of Chopin. So he gets another instrument token on the fortepiano. That's 2 fortepianos he had. And now with his number 1, he is just going to take an instrument card from the top of the deck and hope it's a string. If it is, it'll go there. If it's not, it'll go there. He gets a serpent, another rare instrument. But unfortunately, it's a woodwind for him, so he doesn't assign it. And that takes us into round 5. Okay, let's review upkeep. Looks like green got a bonus for increasing Salon priority beyond 3. He got a patron Schubert for free. Red's performance went to level 2, repair went to level 3, balcony went to level 2. I got my 2 metal, one from Tchaikovsky and one from Vivaldi. Green has 2 level 3 cards, 2 level 2 cards, and 2 level 1 cards. And we'll see red in a second here. Green's going to the performance hall with an apprentice. Red has 2 level 3s and 4 level 2s. She's also going to the performance hall with 2 apprentices. And now I have to figure out what my plan is for round 5. So I know I have the metal. I need to finish the horn with a discount. Once I've done that, I complete Tchaikovsky. Once I've done that, I'll have 3 completed patrons of different types. Tchaikovsky is a composer, Luthier was a performer, and Frederick was a noble, which means I'm ready to get 7 points from this public award. The key, however, is timing. I need to finish the horn before I go to the balcony, and I got to make sure that the AI players aren't going to accidentally send me the balcony before I get to complete my horn. Let me just check them. So, okay, so balcony is very low priority for red. Even if she goes there, she won't do it until later in the round. Same for green, very low priority. So and also, even if green's at level 2 and so is red, even if they do go to the balcony, they score from right to left, meaning low points on an award, not high points. So that's not going to interfere with me. But the point is they're going later, and I need to finish my horn before I go to the balcony. So I am going to, and now we have all our workers. I have all my workers, and so do the AIs. So I'm going to send my number 4 to the balcony. That's eventually either there or down here. When I complete this guy, I'm going to get a specialist worker. So I'm going to the balcony with my number 4. Green's going to the guild with 3 apprentices because his guild priority is at 3. Red's going to the Salon finally with 3 apprentices, so okay, she's back in the game. Back to me. I'm about to complete him, so I want to get another. I want to get another patron, but I really don't care what I get. So I'll probably send my number 1 there. Yeah, let's just send the number 1. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my apprentices yet. Green also going to the salon. Nope, Green was going to the salon, but now he's going to the workbench instead. He already has 2 patrons. Red is going to the repair shop. I'm going with my 2 to the performance hall. Green is going to the workbench. 2 workers there. Red is also going to the workbench. I think both of their cards are now level 3. So I'm going to put my number 3 and 2 apprentices on rough to get the discount and 2 inspiration. Green's going to the repair shop with 2 apprentices. Red's going to the guild with 2 apprentices. They're going to have good rounds here. Salon, they have patrons, they've got instruments. They're going to be in good shape. I'm going to go with my 5 and an apprentice so that when I finish this, where is the horn? Over here? I could get I can get 2 apprentices. I got to make sure my apprentices are freed up, which means I rough in before I finish. Okay. Resolution phase. Green is going to start at the guild. He wants a string instrument for Chopin. And he'll take the cello. Oh, and he's getting first choice. I wasn't sure about that. Okay, so he does take the cello for Chopin. Red doesn't have the patron yet. Doesn't know to look ahead to see what she's going to need. This is unfortunate for her. She's inclined to take a percussion, and there is a harpsichord, so that's what she's going to take. And it'll go to the end of her list over here. And now it's her turn. She's going to the salon. Of course, she gets first choice. She has percussion and strings. Her preference is romantic, so it looks like she's going to take Leopold II. And she's going to assign the double bass to it because she had that standing by. For my patron, do I want Tartini, who wants strings, or do I want Martine, who wants percussion? They don't have secondary requirements. Tartini only scores 2. That's because percussion instruments are so much more rare. There's no guarantee that a percussion is going to show up over here in time. I'm going to have to go with the odds and go with Tartini. Strings are just much more prevalent in the game. And darn it, I didn't have an apprentice to get, so I wasted the slot. Okay, so if I rough in here, I get a discount. I would discount the animal. So So let's rough in and get my apprentices back. Discount on the animal. Green is going to the repair shop, and he's going first. Chopin's already set, secondary wise. Got Schubert over here, which was his bonus patron, looking for a string repair. His repair is at level 2, so we can do 2 or 3 point string repair. That's a woodwind. There's a 3-point string. There's another 3-point string. He will choose this one farthest from the deck, closest to the center of the board. He puts his repair token over here because his preference is romantic. Red is looking for a string repair or a woodwind repair. She is at level 3. She'll take anything. She'll take the 4-pointer. And now she has pretty much solidified her hold on the clarinet. And now we're going over to the performance hall where I'm going to be going last. Red's getting first choice. So recall that Red wants a romantic performance, and there are none on display. She's at level 2. She's willing to search through the deck for the first romantic performance, and that's what she's going to do. So you would pick up the deck, find the first romantic performance. What's on top? There's a classical on top. You just find the first romantic one, and that's the one she's going to complete. She's going to have a score of 7 plus 9 notes, 16 notes. She'll get top tier. Yep, top tier, 3 points. And she goes here because she's going to choose a chair. How to go in the romantic section. She's going to choose a chair that had the fewest number of tokens in it that weren't instrument tokens. So she's going to choose one of these 3. And she chose one at random and went to the violin. Now green fulfilled the secondary performances, so he doesn't really care. He's just looking for a romantic and then Baroque. So he takes the Baroque on the end, gets a high score, gets 3 points, and reinforces his position on the horn. It had to be a Baroque. He wouldn't go here because that's already taken. And there was 1 token there, 1 token there, 1 token there. His preference would have been wind, so it was a choice between these 2. And he chose randomly, and that's where he decided to go, to reinforce his position on the natural horn, instead of competing for the flute with red. So what am I going to do? So do I take the animal, because I need 3 animal to finish the musette. Score a 2, and I'd have to pay 8. It's an easy one to fulfill. Is it worth $8? Or should I need the animal. Animal's really expensive. It would cost me $9 to buy the animal I need. I'm going to take the 3 animal. My turn to go to a location. So what am I doing? Finishing the horn? Or do I finish the musette? Well, I don't have the resources I need, but I do have the resources I need for the horn. And I would use that to finish, Tchaikovsky who then reduces resource requirements by 1 when finishing. That's great. Okay. And his secondary requirement's already fulfilled. So yes, I am finishing the horn. And I got an apprentice out of that because the horn's first cheer bonus is $1 and an apprentice. And I just stole that from Green. He's none too happy about that. I'm going to attach the horn to Tchaikovsky, which will get me another 5 points. A bump on the track, which will get me a specialist worker. Socialite, after completing any action, may reset any one of your patron cubes. Well, I'm going into round 6, so that's of 0 value to me. Party invitation, when revealed on the balcony location, advance 1 extra step on the reputation track. Forecaster, instead of completing the guild action, you may draw the top 3 cards of the guild deck, keep 1 and discard 2. Well, I have my musette de cour for Vivaldi. I'm looking for a string for Tartini. There are no strings currently. This would come in handy if there are no strings available in the display. So I'm going to take Forecaster. And now I get discount of 1 resource when finishing. That was good for me. Scores are, but the scores now are really close. 45 for green, 40 for red, 43 for me. Let's continue. Green is going to his workbench. He's going to complete. He's first going to complete this instrument, which is the cello for Chopin. He wants a woodwind. The serpent. What is the serpent? The serpent's a woodwind. So he'll take the woodwind. He's also going up on the track. The gold track, he assigns the serpent to Chopin and finishes Chopin. Whoa, that was huge for him. By the way, you only go up on the gold track once per action, not once per worker. So because he had 2 workers over there, but he only advanced 1 step because you only get it once for the whole action. So green just went up to 66 points. That was a great turn for him. And red is also going to the workbench. She's going to finish the violin. And he finished all his secondary requirements, the romantic performance and the wind repair. So this is going to score 6 and 6, 12 points for red. It's going to put me back behind. She gets first chair in the double bass. And what do I have left to do? Oh, the balcony. Yeah, I'm getting my 7 points for having 3 different types of patrons. I've got a performer, a noble, and a composer. So I'm going to the balcony, scoring a public reward, choosing the middle one, and this time I'm going to need a lot of resources for this musette, and then some for the string. You know what, I'm not taking a chance. I'm going to go with this trophy, which gets me a resource and increases my capacity to 12. So I get 7 points over there. And what do I want? What do I need here? 3 animal, which I've got, 2 wood. I guess I'm taking a wood, aren't I? Usually I take metal. Yeah, I'm going to take the wood. And that actually took me up here which gets me 2 points per instrument. I think I just scored 6 points extra because I have 3 instruments, don't I? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I just scored 6 points. Yes. So I'm back up to 56. So I'm staying competitive. And now, do I want to go to the market? Well, for the Musette Decor, 3 animal, I'll discount the wood. I've got the metal. I don't really know what I need because I don't know what instrument I'm going to have yet. So I don't have any dire need. I could go to the market and get my 3rd apprentice. What am I getting here? Oh, he's giving me an apprentice, Vivaldi, when he goes up to the 3rd notch. So I don't even need to buy an apprentice. So I'm just ending my turn. We're going into round 6. Oh, I have to assign a chip to the forecaster when I go to the guild. I will assign my 4. That's what I'll use for the guild. Round 6. And we'll pause. Oh, I'm going first, but let's pause and review as we usually do. So it looks like Red got a bonus because her Salon priority was going to go over 3, and now it's back at 0, and she got a free patron handle. Also, Green got a bonus instrument because his guild priority was going over 3. He got a violin, got added to unassigned instruments, and now Red Performance Hall card is at level 3. Guild card is at level 3, and her repair card was already at level 3, and she had a worker chip of 4 or higher, so she advanced on her goal track. Green upgraded his guild card to level 2, his repair card to level 3, and again advanced on the goal track because his roughing bench was already at 3 and it had a 4 worker on it. And I picked up an apprentice from Vivaldi. And what? I didn't get anything from Tartini? What was Tartini? An apprentice. Yeah. That's okay. I didn't have to pay for any of those apprentices. I just happened to get the double bonus, so I ended up with an extra apprentice that I didn't need. Okay, what's my game plan here for this last round? Score-wise, I'm hanging in there. I'm going to probably put my 5 and an apprentice on finishing bench. My number 4 is definitely going to the guild. Probably use forecaster. 3 and apprentice on finishing to finish the instrument that I'm getting, hopefully the string instrument that I'm getting for Tartini. I'm going to have to put my 1 on the roughing bench to rough in that instrument. Oh, and so I have to do a 3 and an apprentice to make sure I can get it into my roughing bench with that, and that leaves my 2 and an apprentice to go to perform. And I've got to perform a Baroque, and there is a Baroque here. Oh, it's a pretty easy one too. Okay, I know what my plan is. Let's start with a 2 and an apprentice at perform. Red is going to the balcony. I'm sorry, Green was going to the balcony. Red's going to the balcony as well. And they are both, Red's at level 2, Green's at level 2. So when they score low end to high end. What was I doing? I was going to do my specialty worker at the guild. Green is joining me at the guild with no apprentices, and so is Red with 2 apprentices. Of course, my forecaster, my specialist, is worth, has a skill of 4. I was going to rough in with my 1. I don't know what I'm getting yet. I need to rough in, and I'm going to finish twice. I'm going to need discounts. I'll get the discounts on the finishing edge, actually double discounts on the finishing edge, and because of the extra discount I get for, who was that, Tchaikovsky. Oh, I got a little extra F in there. No. All right, so my 1 is going to my roughing bench, and then I'll get my discounts when I finish. Green to the Salon, red to the Performance Hall. My 5 and an Apprentice here. Going to the repair hall, the repair shop, sorry. Great red's going to the Salon, and then a 3 and an Apprentice to get a discount on the finishing bench. Ugh, and I don't even know what the instrument is yet. This could be tricky if I don't have the resource for it. But at least I have capacity of 12. Green's going to the workbench. Red also going to the workbench. They're going to have a good turn here. Resolution phase. Where do I go first? I guess I'll resolve the performance hall first. I'm going second. Red is looking for a Baroque. She's going to take this Baroque performance. Wasn't that the one that I wanted? Oh, crap. Oh, did I somehow mess up? Darn it. She scores high, gets a point, and she reinforces her spot over there in the wins. Oh man, I kind of just didn't expect this. I'm gonna have to dig into the deck. I did go there with an Apprentice, but now I'm only gonna have a skill of 2. Well, I gotta get this. I don't have a choice. I gotta do this performance, and I've gotta do well. And I do have plenty of inspiration, so I'm okay. All right, so I'm looking for. I already know there's a Baroque performance on the top of the deck, but I have to spend $10 and an Apprentice to get it. So I am doing that. I'm spending $10 an Apprentice to look in the top of the deck. Look in the deck. I'll just take the top one and hope for the best. It is Baroque. Oh wow, that's pretty good. A score of 8. I got a medal. Pretty good. Do I spend the inspiration? Yeah, I have to. I have to spend 3 inspiration. Well, wait a minute. I can re-roll a die, but that would be foolish. So let's not re-roll. I got the medal. I'll increase. I'll add. What am I adding here? 3 inspiration. 1, 2, 3. That gets me the top tier. Gets me 2 points. And now I have to choose a chair in the Baroque section. Oh, and I'm getting 2 points for this. In fact, I should have already gotten the 2 points for this. Yeah, right there. Effect of Jaquette de la Guerre. Good. All right, so my program didn't forget. I'm not doing another performance, and I'm not doing a repair, so there's no chance of stealing first chair. And I had a goal or something, didn't I? He reduces the resource requirements when repairing. Doesn't help me. He gives me a point per performance token in the string section of the orchestra. Oh, okay. Then I'm putting my performance token down here. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll put it in the Has to be in the Baroque section, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not getting first chair. I'm getting a consolation. I'm taking 2 money. And that helps Vivaldi. And now green is what, going to the Salon? With red. Green's going to go first. Green has a violin. So he's looking for somebody with a string, interest in strings. Mendelssohn? Mendelssohn. He's going to take Mendelssohn. And assign the violin. Red has got strings and percussion. And oh, there's Medici. She'll take Medici. And she will assign the pipe organ. Damn it, another rare instrument worth a lot of points. Shoot. Oh, what? She's taking Martine. Martine was furthest, closest to the center of the board, furthest from the deck. Sorry, she has percussion. She's going to assign the pipe organ to Martine. My mistake. And now red is going to the guild. First choice, I get second choice. Red is looking for a woodwind. Oh no, not another rare instrument. Oh my God. She's getting the contrabassoon. Jesus. And she goes up on the gold track. Oh my God. Jeez. She's going to be tough to beat. Okay, now I am looking for a string, right? For Tartini. We got a viola here for, it cost me $8, well, and or inspiration. If I use forecaster, well, oh, there is a string on the top of the deck. So I know if I do forecaster, I'm definitely going to see at least one string. Okay, I'm going to use forecaster. Cancel, use forecaster. I got a double bass, transfers flute. Oh, and a theorbo. Oh, I get my chance at a rare instrument. Oh, but can I afford it? That's the question. Darn it. I'm going to have 2 double discounts when I finish. So on the Musette de Cour, I'll probably discount the metal and discount the wood. And I'll be left with 4 metal. If I go with the theorbo, I'm going to need 1 animal. I'm going to need a total of 3 animal. Oh man. 5 wood, 2 metal, less 2 of those for finishing. I could afford to sell 3 of my metal and then buy the resources I need. The question is, am I going to be able to fit all this? Oh man. I can't finish. I've got to rough in first. I've got to be able to have 1 wood, 3. I didn't put a high chip here, did I? I'm going to need 1 animal, 3. That's 5 resources. I already have the animal. I'm going to need more wood. So I'm going to need 2 wood, and I already have the metal. So I'm going to have to buy 2 wood at the very least. That gets me to 9. And I have 3 resource slots to spare. I think I can pull it off. I'm going to take the theorbo. I'm sure there was something I forgot, but I'm going to go with it. Oh, I get a bonus here. What did I say? I had to buy animal and wood for the theorbo? Because I have the metal. So Should I take the wood? Yeah, I think so. I'll take a wood. Wood's middle the range. Ooh, I could sell metal and make a lot of money. Animals middle range. All right, I'm going to take a wood, and I get to put it in my roughing bench, which was critical because it's round 6. Green's now doing his guild turn. Is he just going to take the bassoon, I think? Yeah, put it as unassigned. And now it's back to me. My mind is sort of blowing up a little bit here. Okay, I got to rough in my Theorbo, but I have to go to, wait a minute. I need an animal, 3 wood, and a metal. All right, I'm going to the market. I need a metal to rough in the Theorbo, but otherwise I think I can discount the other metals I need. So I need a metal, so I can sell 3 of my metal. I've got 3 animal. That's enough for the musette. I need 3 animal for the Theorbo. I've got to buy it. I need to buy 2 wood. Yeah, I think I'm buying 2 wood. Gets me a 4. I think I calculated that right. Hope I did. Okay. Green, going to the repair shop, looking for a string worth any number of points. He's taking that one worth 3 points and satisfying Medelson's requirement. And taking what was the last empty chair there was. Now going to the balcony. Green's going first. Cares about the middle. He's at level 2. He's going to go from right to left. He'll take the 1-pointer. Red is at level 2, cares about the middle. She's getting the 3 points. I'm ready to rough this in at full price. Green, going to the workbench. He's going to complete his violin, and that will finish Mendelssohn. Red has 1 worker. She's going to finish her contrabassoon worth 8 points, and that will take care of handle worth another 4 points. And another bump on the gold track for her. Okay, does it matter who I finish first? Well, I'm definitely finishing. I'm getting a double bonus for the first one. And I get a double discount on each. So this is a rare wind, which would give me 2 inspiration, 2 bucks, 2 apprentices, which I don't even have. And this is a rare string. Gives me 2 of any resource. That would be handy. So I think I'm going to do the Theorbo first. Two animal, I have it. I discount wood, and I discount metal. Theorbo. And I get the first string, so I get 2 resources, or two resources of my choice. I don't think it matters. It's just going to matter with things counted at the end of the game. So I'll just take 2 wood. That finishes this Tartini. He's going to give me a point. So he's going to give me 2 points for these guys at the end of the game. finishing the musette de cour. 3 animal, 2 wood. I can discount a metal and a wood. Finishes Vivaldi. Oh, who takes me to the top of the reputation track, which allows me to score romantic area patrons. I think I only have one, Tchaikovsky. I got a point. Which is going to get me a royal patron because I'm using my last trophy. Yeah, thank you. I'll take Queen Victoria, it doesn't really matter. I will put her here for the $4 though, that does matter. Again, things count at the end of the round, at the end of the game rather. So I'm gonna have, what, 29 things? Plus an apprentice, 30 things. I'm gonna get 3 points out of that. This is gonna take us to the end of the game, and there is an AI upkeep at the end of the game too. So we're going to find out who wins right here. It's close. Red pulled it out by 4 points. 108 to 104, and green was 6 points behind me at 98. Well, let's take a look at upkeep. So red got a repair bonus because of her repair priority going above 3. She got a 4-pointer. That was the difference right there. Green didn't get any bonuses. Red went up her goal track. She reached the top of the track at 7. And it really doesn't matter what else. Okay, well, let's review endgame scoring, shall we? So for red, she ended the game with 72 points. She had the maximum first chairs. 8 or more first chairs get you for 15 points. That's a killer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. 5 unfinished for unfinished instruments. Did she have anything left? Yes, she did. This pipe organ, she never finished it. She gets half points for that. 5. And then she was at the end of her goal track. She got 16 points, brought her to 108. I ended the game at 86. I had 6 first chairs worth 6 points. Wow, what a difference. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 first chairs worth 6 points. Tartini gave me those points for the performance tokens in the string section. First goal was different era patrons. We never had anybody in the classical era, did I? All these little things could have made a difference. You know, when I took Tartini, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have taken what that other one was. I don't even remember. It's all the little things. Composer patrons. I had 2 composers, Tchaikovsky and Vivaldi, I think, were 3 points. 1 specialty worker. If I had gotten up here on this track, if that performance had failed, another point there for me, for that specialty worker. As I said, 3 points for my 30 leftovers. Green ended the game with 76, had 7 first chairs. Look at me, I'm the bottom of the barrel on first chairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. one shy of the end of his goal track, so he only got 12 points. Took him to 98. 108, 104, 98. Close game. You can't ask for better than that. And thanks for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. It was long, but there will be timestamps, of course. So I hope you got something out of this 3-player solo tutorial and playthrough. I hope I covered just about every rule there is. I think I did. So please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.